Today, on CedarSpringsTV Live, we will explore the debate on whether remote learning is good or bad. We are excited to hear from students and hear what they have to bring to the table. In such unprecedented times, education quality is as important as ever.
And with everything happening in our daily lives, it's important to take a step back and recognize some positive things in our community. We're going to take a look at some good things happening in Cedar Springs.
Many may not know that one of our very own former Red Hawks and state champs went on to perform as a decorated collegiate-level track star. We send Justin Balzac a warm Red Hawk welcome and are excited to hear what he has for us.
We'll also take a peek into the personal life of our assistant principal, Mr. Verwise. All of this and more on today's episode of CedarSpringsTV Live.
Welcome back from a much-needed holiday break.
And welcome back to Cedar Springs High School in person after a long period of online learning. We are your co-hosts, Jade Youts
and Mara Lutz. In a few moments on CedarSpringsTV Live, we will bring to you the pros and cons of remote learning.
I know personally, remote learning was a lot more difficult than being in person. How about you?
I actually really liked it. I felt that I had a lot more time and freedom not only to worry about my schoolwork, but to live a life too.
I'm both anxious and excited to hear what other students have to say. We're going to send it over to Hannah Anderson to hear what other people have to say about remote learning.
For the past month, students at Cedar Springs High School have been online due to an increase in COVID-19 cases. Remote learning is far different from in-person learning. Today we have interviewed multiple students to get a better understanding of how remote learning has impacted them positively and negatively in both their personal and educational lives. How has remote learning impacted your social life? Do you still talk to people, including your friends, often?
Remote learning has impacted my social life because my parents don't want me going out and hanging out with my friends because of Corona. So the way that I saw them was through school and sports, and since we can't have that, I just haven't been hanging out with my friends and really anyone as much.
How's being online impacted your social life? I talk to most of my friends often than I did in school. It just really shows through this hard time who is really your actual friend and who's just kind of there.
How has being online affected your work ethic?
Being online has definitely affected my work ethic. I find it way harder to be motivated, and I'm becoming a pro in the art of procrastination.
It's changed it by getting stuff in. It's made me want to get stuff in faster and not forget about things.
How has remote learning impacted your grades?
Learning has affected my grade in not a very harmful way because they still post the same assignments and sometimes they've been grading.
Remote learning has impacted my grades because I'm still studying, just not as much. I'm not caring as much about my grades. I'm not putting in the work to get the grades that I want, even though I'm still getting the grades that I want. I'm just not trying as hard.
Do you personally feel remote learning is well structured?
I personally believe that remote learning is not very well structured, but given that this is such an unprecedented time, I'd be really surprised if it was.
I feel that remote learning is kind of well structured. I think it's I don't like that we have to do Zooms, even though if we aren't doing something that requires Zoom. I think it's kind of crazy that we have to sit in Zooms all day when some classes we don't need them. We can do the work on our own.
Do you still believe that your teachers are invested in your learning and future when remote?
I still believe my teachers are invested in my learning and my future, and they're doing the best they can to support my peers and me.
Yeah, they're so invested. They have been trying to make all these possibilities and stuff like that for us.
Even though not all individuals felt the same about remote learning, it is obvious that it has impacted every single student at Cedar Springs High School in one way or another. We welcome you back and strongly encourage you follow the COVID-19 guidelines to further prevent going remote again.
It sounds like there are some varied perspectives on how people think online learning has affected students. After the break, we'll learn a little bit about how people in the Cedar Springs community have been doing things to brighten other people's days.
Are you tired of the boring, bland, super sugary energy drinks nowadays? Now introducing Red Bull, but without all the sugar. Makes you better at everything in life. For example, Travis Pastrana drinks Red Bull, so that means he's great at everything in life. He's the best dirt bike rider X Games has ever seen.
And cheering on the 199. Go Travis!
Even Neymar drinks Red Bull, so that means he's the best player on his team. He's even won 2 League Player of the Year awards, so that really does mean he's the best. Remember to drink Red Bull.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back from the break. There are some truly great things happening in Cedar Springs lately, and CedarSpringsTV's own Avery Sparling and Alina Ego set out to find more about these things.
You know, we give back so much, but I guess it never feels like a lot. So I guess some of the things that we've done this year, we've done the coat drive, we did the giving table, which was amazing. We did the tie-dye event, we did stockings, we did letters to Santa Claus, just a lot of different things, but it's something that we love, so we'll always do it. Why do you give back? We give back because we love it. Like it's our passion. So I guess why do we give back? Just because this town is amazing and we love it, so we will continue to do it. How has giving back had an impact on me? I think just watching the little kids' faces, like for the Santa Claus, putting the letters in for Santa Claus was super fun watching that. That was awesome. Watching the people come through to get Thanksgiving dinner that were just so excited about it. The little kids that were so excited to do tie-dye this year just to get out and do something, that was awesome. Handing out backpacks and watching little kids' faces when they opened it up, that was super cool. I guess just so many things. The little girl that came into the office and was so excited to get a coat. She was super cold. That was super sad. My favorite event in giving back is probably the best prom ever. I love that. We didn't get to do that this year because of COVID, but that's my favorite event we've probably ever done. My husband gets married at least 3 times that day. All those girls get dressed up and they say he is their husband. So that's cool event. How has this influenced and impacted your business? So I was thinking a lot about that earlier, like what that looked like. I don't know. Not sure if I care if it ever impacts my business. I think it's something that is ingrained in us. I think it's something that we love, and I really don't care if it ever helps my business. It's just something that we'll always do.
Wow, what a wonderful influence on the community. It's truly amazing that even through historic and chaotic times such as these, the Cedar Springs community comes together to make our town a better place. After the break, we'll send you over to Dan Cole at the sports desk to fill you in on the athletic community, on the happenings in the athletic community, as well as updates on winter sports.
We all love dogs. They're goofy, fun, and a great way to comfort yourself. But what hinders that is a smelly dog. And most of the time, it's pretty easy to clean them. Just wash them outside with a hose or a bath. However, that's a different story in the winter. Nobody wants to stand outside in the freezing cold washing their dog. That's why you should buy Clean Your Pup Dry Shampoo. The all-new dry shampoo that's lightweight, not sticky, with a sweet scent of lavender. Just give it a good spritz all over your dog, but not too much, or else it can become a little greasy, and you're good to go.
Welcome back to another episode of Cedar Springs TV Live. I'm Dan Cole, and I'll be your sports anchor today. Due to our concerns with COVID-19, our winter sports have been pushed back quite a ways. But with classes returning back to in-person, this is a good sign for our athletes. All of our winter sports are planned to start up over the weekend. Now we're going to take a look at how one of our athletes here at CSHS is going to approach this sports season.
I'm Nathan Van Camp, and I'm a senior. I'm a 4-year soccer athlete, and I played basketball for 2. I did not plan to play a winter or spring sport through the high school. I am signed up for club soccer. Following the end of my fall soccer season, I've been staying fit mostly through pretty sporadic runs, really. Just whenever I can get the time to get stay in shape and practice some good healthy habits that I can carry into my adulthood and post-high school life. My recommendation for athletes this winter and spring is to treat this season as a blessing and to go into it realizing that things are out of your control and that you might get games canceled or you might not get to play at all, and just to realize that when you're in high school, the point of sports is not to win titles. You don't get paid to be on the field, and we all like to win, but that's not really the main goal of sports. The main goal of sports is to build team building, or to build interpersonal skills, I suppose is how I should say that, and to build resiliency. So really my recommendation is to reevaluate your relationship with sports in general. It's pretty easy, right?
Thanks, Nate. Next up, we have a 2011 Cedar Springs alumni who is a decorated track athlete who eventually goes to compete for Azusa Pacific University, earning a national champion title in the decathlon. Introducing Justin Balczak.
So in my 10 plus years as a track and field athlete, I was able to accomplish many things. In terms of college athletics, for the 5 years I competed, I was able to accumulate 7 All-American titles, 2 national championship titles. I broke a national record. I competed at the World Trials in 2015 and placed 10th. And I was also selected to compete for Team USA in one of the World Games that same year. For me, inspiration never really came from looking up to a specific person, but it really came from how good can I get at this specific thing I'm doing right now. I've always found inspiration in, I like this thing, how can I become the best I can be at it? If you can draw inspiration from yourself, the rest of it doesn't really matter. And pushing myself to be the best I could possibly be in college prepares you a lot for life. You know, in college, I stretched myself pretty thin. And now that I'm in the real world, I'm not quite stretched as thin. And it's allowed me to do other things that I've always wanted to do, like start my own business and work for myself. And without the stress I went through in college and the pressure I put on myself, I don't think I really would have gotten to this point in the real world as easily. There were a few challenges I faced in track and field as well. The biggest being during my second national championship meet, I suffered a concussion right towards the end of the decathlon. And I had a choice to make. I could either tell my athletic trainer I have a concussion and risk him pulling me out of the meet, which I was leading at that point, or risk damaging my brain and moving forward with the meet, which I did. And I ended up winning, so I justify the means. It was worth it, but that was a huge challenge. So there's a lot of things I could say here in terms of advice, but I'm going to keep it relatively straightforward. As an athlete, not even just an athlete, as anyone in an extracurricular activity, whether it's marching band, theater, dance, athletics, do not coast. These times where you need to challenge yourself, that's what you need to do. I challenge all of you to figure out what your limits are and see if you can push through them, because 9 times out of 10, you will be able to push through them. Pushing yourself to those limits are what will prepare you for many things in life and will actually make things in life much, much easier. You all are capable of a lot more than you think, but you personally have to make that decision to push further. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I always do. And to the rest of the Cedar Springs family, I hope you guys are able to take something from my ramblings. I hope you guys have a good day.
Thanks, Justin. Justin not only excelled in his athletics here at the high school, but also his academics, earning him the FOSS award while still here at the high school. He captures perfectly what we strive here to be at Cedar Springs Public Schools. More on CedarSpringsTV Live after the break.
Look at your floor. Now back to me. Who am I? Thomas Johnson. Who are you? A consumer. And what is this? It's COVID Be Gone. We've all heard of COVID-19. or as I like to call it, Year Killer 19,000. So it doesn't kill your year, we've got COVID Be Gone. I use it every morning, and now I have immunodeficiency. But that's not the point, now is it? With just one spritz, COVID has disappeared. Even with just a couple spritz, anyone who walks in the room will be free of that coronavirus. Here's with one of our customers and see their satisfaction. Who are you? See? Perfectly cured. Buy the COVID Be Gone bottle in many different sizes. Today at Thomas and Tom Donson's Big Buck Big Boys store.
And if you're anything like me, you think there isn't enough time in a day. How are we supposed to get everything done in 24 hours? Well, now we have a solution. Introducing the kitchen pump.
The kitchen pump allows you to cook and work out at the same time for only $29.99. Just attach the kitchen pump to any kitchen appliance and get cooking.
Let's say you're making a grilled cheese sandwich and you're waiting to flip it. Usually all this time would be lost doing nothing. But now with the kitchen pump, you can get a couple curls in, do some squats, and stay active while you cook your food. And then when it comes time to actually flip the sandwich, it still functions as a normal spatula. So you just get in there, boom, easy as that. Staying productive and staying fit has never tasted better. Buy the kitchen pump today.
Up next, time to get up close and personal with Assistant Principal Verwise as he shares with us an inside look into his life outside of school.
We all know of our staff members here at Cedar Springs High School inside of school. But what are they like outside of school? Today we are focused on Mr. Verwise and all the other activities he does outside of school. Could they really be different from us?
My hobbies always involve being outside. I don't have a lot of indoor hobbies. So you'll most often find me either hiking, backpacking, camping, hunting, anything that involves me getting out into nature in the woods, or being in or on the water. So I love doing anything on the water at all. I've grown up doing a lot of boating, water skiing, slalom skiing, wakeboarding, barefooting, basically anything behind the boat that I could do. I have tried and usually love doing. I also have fallen in love with sailing over the last few years as well. Reasons I love outdoor hobbies, just really getting in touch with nature. I find that getting away from technology, getting away from email and phones and televisions is good for my soul and is how I love life. So that ability just to be out in nature and enjoying that is my preference anytime I can. My family consists of my wife. We just actually ended up celebrating our 22nd year of marriage, still going strong. And I've got two kids, what my grandpa would call the perfect family. So my son is 18, he's a senior and will be graduating this spring. He is enlisted in the Navy with the ultimate goal of becoming a SEAL, and he actually just got his SEAL contract. So as soon as he graduates, he'll be going to basic. He'll leave basic and go out to San Diego, where he will go through buds and with the ultimate goal, hopefully becoming a SEAL. My daughter's a freshman in high school and spends the majority of her time when she's not studying and at school, she is a competitive diver. So she does that not only for school, but also for a club team. After retirement, a few years down the road yet for me, I see myself moving either to someplace very warm or someplace with some amazing mountains to hike in, or if I get really lucky, I will find a combination of both of those. Pretty good chance that it won't be in the United States. And so yeah, that's what I'll be looking for, is maybe someplace in the mountains where I can hike every day and bike every day, but hopefully someplace that's also drivable, maybe to the ocean, so I can surf on some off days. So that would be my ideal scenario. So I ended up in Cedar Springs after growing up in the Grand Rapids area. And then I did my first year of college at Calvin College in Grand Rapids. Then I transferred to a small college down in Ohio. Then I taught my first year in Indianapolis, and then wanted to move back to this area. And I had a connection to Mr. Harrington, who was a fifth grade teacher here in Cedar Springs. He taught here for 30 years. And through that connection, I applied and got hired in Cedar Springs in 1997, and I have been here ever since.
So, in conclusion, teachers are very similar to us. You just have to know the real person behind the job. And remember, it's always a great day to be a Red Hawk.
Wow, I had no idea that Mr. Verwise was so interested in those outdoor hobbies. It takes quite some talent to water ski like that. It's definitely interesting to learn more about someone that we see so often during school.
Well, sadly, that's all we have for you today on today's episode of Cedar Springs TV Live. We look forward to bringing you more content in the future and hope the upcoming semester treats you well. I'm Mara Lutz.
And I'm Jade Youts, and it's a great day to be a Red Hawk.